Hi, this is Maginoni, and here's some comic reviews for you. We have Wolverine and the X-Men 21. We have the Indestructible Hulk number 1, Captain America 1, and All New X-Men number 1. I'm going to be really brief about All New X-Men. I mean, this is basic. This is basic Bendis. You love him or you hate him. And it's very, very dialogue heavy. I love the artwork. I would love to see original pencils for this, because when they released some of the early pencil work for the Cyclops part, when he was shooting his optic glass at the soldiers like this, I really thought this was great, and I would just love to see that. It's an interesting premise in that the Beast goes back to the past to bring Scott Summers to the future to talk sense to Future Boy, but I think it's kind of flawed at the same time. If anything, part of me thinks, why bring him back to this time period? It would make, I mean, granted, you can argue the point, bringing him back now would help him realize that he made the mistake, but isn't it too late for the mistake? Other than, letting past Scott see the mistake and then avoid it. And if he avoided it, then all of this is null and void. Or is it better to bring past to a time where Scott's sensible? You can talk to him and maybe alter his approach. So I'm not sure what's the best option. And if you do alter his point of view, couldn't that also lead to the death of all the X-Men? Or, sorry, all the New Mutants that are back in play again. So there's a lot of unknown questions. Now, I do think this dialogue here, where he's talking about children of the atom, that's a little bit preachy like Magneto, but I think overall it's this was an interesting read. We now have another group. So we have the X-Men, we have Scott's band of outlaws, you have the Hellfire Club, and you have Mystique and Sabretooth, all looking for mutants to join their cause. So once we get past the joining period, I'm kind of curious to see how all of this is going to mix together now. Other than that, I'm going to stick around for this a little bit longer. We'll see how this one turns out. Okay, Captain America Remender with JR. Overall, I was pleased with it. The art, I don't know, it's kind of, there's some weird, awkward panels, I thought, especially with Captain America getting frisky with Sharon. And also I thought it was kind of weird, not really necessarily weird, but it was like, I was kind of surprised to see Steve Rogers as a kid, and his mom was getting abused, and how what she says to him kind of follows him to the present as to why he doesn't give up, why he keeps standing up no matter what. He always gets up. So I thought that was kind of weird. I think that's going to be a very controversial part of his past, but I don't know, it's a little flavor, which whether or not if you hate it or not, it's going to be forgotten at the earliest convenience. But anyways, what S.H.I.E.L.D. has discovered is like a train, and that's being used in an abandoned, forgotten train line. And so Sharon and Steve, they basically try to figure out what's going on. There's only room for one more, so Steve goes, and he gets teleported into another dimension, so to speak. And he meets his old buddy Zola, and this is where chaos and insanity ensue. Now, basically Zola's trying to take the super serum from Roger's body, and he's putting it to his children. And Steve is having none of this. He frees himself and takes the sun, and he discovers he's trapped in an alternate dimension. And that's where it ends. So, I know I probably did some spoilers there, but I don't think I spoiled anything too much because we already knew that he was going to be another dimension. So overall, I'm really liking it. It's an interesting start. I think Remender. I'm hopeful that Remender's going to hit a home run, and I'm definitely on this ride. Okay, Indestructible Hulk. This one was a moment. Now, when I first started reading the concept of what's going to happen is where you have the Hulk joining S.H.I.E.L.D., and I was like, really? How is this possible? You know, it doesn't make sense. And Wade actually made sense of it all. Basically, what's going on is Banner finally figured out that he's incurable. He's stuck with this thing for life. So what he's going to do is he's going to use it for good. He's tired of Reed Richards and Tony Stark, especially Tony, always getting the credit for, you know, saving the day, offering technological wonders. So what he's going to do is, when he's Banner, he's going to work on problems, you know, things that can save lives. And then he knows that he can't stay Banner forever, so when he turns into the Hulk, he wants to do something a little bit more constructive than smash through towns. So what he's doing, he's going to offer his services to S.H.I.E.L.D. If S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't want him, he says he'll go somewhere else who will appreciate his talents. Now, Banner made an interesting observation in that, if you think back, while the Hulk is a raving monster most of the time, there are times where he's not, and usually those were times where he is comfortable with people. Like, usually, like, for example, if there's like a friend like Rick Jones or somebody like that that needs his help, he listens to him. And so that's basically what he's doing here. He's setting it up where, as long as he's surrounded by people he feels safe with, he's controllable. So he works out a deal with Maria Hill, and they basically take out the Mad Tinker. Or Thinker, sorry. And that's basically where we're at. Now, there's some funny moments, especially during the battle, and I think the overall story is a very interesting premise. I'm really curious to see where this is going to go. In a way, Mark Waid has taken a page from Slott's Spider-Man in terms of Spider-Man working for Horizon Labs to better the world. Bruce Banner's going to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. to better the world type thing. Well, in the past, I hated Yu's artwork, hated it with a passion. I think his art has improved immensely, and it really fits the tone of the book, and I think it works really well with this. So this is definitely, while this was originally, when I first heard it, it was off my list. It's definitely on, and I'm hoping this will be a good ride. Okay, Wolverine and the X-Men, number 21. I'm going to be short about this one, because this one I'm not really on the fence with. Basically, if you remember, you have the Frankenstein guy, and he's running the circus, and what he does is he somehow manages, between issues, to capture the X-Men, and, you know, the teachers, and he puts them in his circus. And, you know, he's doing nefarious things, stealing souls and body things, and I don't know. I think my problem is it reminds me way too much of an earlier X-Men comic. If you remember, I think it's X-Men 110 or 109, around that range, where you had the big battle between the X-Men and Magneto inside the volcano. This is the Byrne Claremont issues. And there was an issue right before the big battle of Magneto where Mysterio, I forgot the guy's name. It's not Mysterio, Mesmero or something like that. The guy who hypnotized people. And what he did was he hypnotized the X-Men to be in the circus. And this is, like, when I'm reading this, I'm like, this is the same story almost. You know, they're X-Men, they're in the circus, they're just different X-Men characters doing different things. And instead of Wolverine being the savage beast man, he's a clown now. Because if you really think about it, that's what he is now to a lot of hardcore Wolverine fans. He's no longer the killing beast. He's a clown of what he used to be. But anyways, so what you have is you have this going on. You have what's his name? A Frankenstein guy, a young kid who's penniless, who had his discredited, whatever, and he's working with the Hellfire Club to try to steal away some of the younger X-Men, with this robot priest. And you have Quentin sensing there's something wrong, and eventually you're going to get craziness and shenanigans, and then eventually the X-Men are going to break free and there'll be a big fight. So while I'm really immensely enjoying Aaron's run, I think this is a step back in a way, because, like I said, it reminds me way too much of the other earlier X-Men title. So I'm not too happy with this. Anyways, that's my review for these books. I'll try to get some more reviews out, and in the meantime, let me get you a freebie. How about we'll give you Captain America. Anyways, wow, the sticker got small. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. Like the Facebook link here, because I'll be giving out more free comics. And if you have any other comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Let me know what you think. And I'll have more reviews and stuff like that later. So, until next time.